My story begins with what felt like the happiest chapter of my life. I was 5 years old, deeply in love, and living with my boyfriend, who was 25 years old. We had been together for nearly 6 years, and every day felt like it solidified the strong bond we shared. After graduating college, we had decided to take our relationship to the next level by getting an apartment together. For almost 3 beautiful years, our shared space was filled with laughter, late-night talks, and the quiet, comforting certainty that we were building something genuinely special. As the summer sun warmed the days, our conversations began to circle around the topic of marriage. It felt like a natural extension of the life we were already sharing. We chatted casually, but excitedly about what rings we liked, and we even browsed a few jewelry stores. Each glance at a shimmering band was accompanied by intertwined fingers and shy, hopeful smiles. It felt real, and it felt right. These weren't just idle chats either. We were planning our future together. We discussed living in the city we loved, envisioning a cozy house where laughter would echo across the hallway, joined by the pitter-patter of little feet. The idea of starting a family together wasn't just a dream anymore. It was a goal we both desired. Each conversation wrapped us in a soft cocoon of mutual dreams and promises of a life we wanted to sculpt together. We were like a team, navigating through life's uncertainties with a shared resolve and trust. Our weekends were sacred, reserved for exploring new parts of town, cooking elaborate meals, or simply binge-watching our favorite shows until we fell asleep on the couch. He was more than a partner. He was my confidant, my rock, someone I couldn't imagine living without. As every month faded into the next, I felt that time only strengthened our commitment to one another. I was convinced we were heading towards a lifetime of happiness, the kind of love story that's talked about with a heartwarming certainty. We had shared plans, shared dreams, and a shared vision of what our life would look like 10, 20, or even 50 years down the road. In my mind, we were unbreakable, fortified by years of shared experiences and aspirations. But as the days rolled on, I had no idea that the solid foundation on which I placed my love and trust would be shaken to its core by a revelation that would alter everything. Last month, just when I thought our future together was locked in, a reality check slapped me in the face, unraveling the seemingly unbreakable bond I thought we shared. One evening, seemingly like any other, I stumbled upon my boyfriend's phone while he was taking a shower. Now, normally, I respected his privacy, but that day, something nudged at my curiosity, an itch that begged to be scratched. Driven by an unexplainable need, I picked it up and, to my utter disbelief, I discovered 13 minutes worth of messages exchanged between him and a woman whom we both knew, a 35-year-old woman I had socialized with more than once. This particular woman was someone I had even shared drinks with on 2 separate occasions, during which I never once suspected any undercurrents of betrayal between her and my boyfriend. It was surreal and heart-wrenching to read their conversation, clearly indicating a relationship that had blossomed beyond friendship right under my nose. The texts painted a vivid picture of clandestine meetings facilitated by his best friend and the best friend's girlfriend, who had also offered them a place to be together. They seemed to be cheering him on, giving him the encouragement to pursue her while showing a complete disregard for the commitment we had built over the years. In those messages, he confessed to her that he genuinely liked her and that she understood his situation, which I later realized was a euphemism for me, his long-term girlfriend. It felt like each word stabbed through the warmth I had held in my heart for him. I was the one who had been obliviously making plans with him for our future, while he seemingly laid the groundwork for a future with someone else. As the following day arrived, my mind was an absolute whirlwind, but I was determined to confront him. Composing myself as best as I could, I initiated a conversation under the guise of a normal day. As we talked, he unexpectedly broached the topic first, ending our relationship abruptly with empty justifications. He claimed he had given everything he possibly could to this relationship, but tragically, it just wasn't working for him anymore. He backhandedly implied that I wasn't the same fun-loving girl he fell in love with years ago because, apparently, I had changed, matured into responsibilities like my teaching career, and started holding him accountable for reckless drinking habits. My world crumbled as it dawned on me that to him, my growth as a person and as a professional was a burden rather than a source of pride. He was stepping away from the shared life we had crafted with a stranger's convenience, rather than the consideration of a man who once claimed to love me. The feeling of betrayal burrowed deep into my soul, leaving a hollow space where hope and love once felt at home. Yet, his justification led only to more anger and confusion than closure. How could he disassemble the years of love and plans, dismissing them like a worn-out jersey he no longer wanted to wear? I was left shattered, abandoned in the hollow echo of his non-existent remorse. That day marked the beginning of a painful realization that the man I loved, who I thought was my partner in life's challenges and joys, had chosen a path riddled with deceit and selfishness. The dreams we had built together dissipated like mist in the morning sun, leaving me alone to navigate through the aftermath of our past and the confusion of my present. It was as if I was waking up to a nightmare. And yet, amidst all this hurt, I somehow hoped for the strength to piece together the remnants of my heart and start anew, despite the scars his betrayal had imprinted upon it. As the days trudged on, I held fast to the thread of hope that this too would eventually fade into a painful memory, allowing me one day to reclaim the vibrant person I was meant to be, unshackled by the chains of this devastating betrayal. So, fast forward 2 weeks, my circumstances had changed dramatically. I found myself living with my best friend of 12 years, attempting to piece together what once felt like a solid, dependable life. It was like standing in the eye of a storm, with emotions swirling around me. Despite the upheaval, I was determined to soldier on, finding comfort in familiar friendships and the kindness extended by her family. Yet, life had another cruel twist in store. This time, it unfolded at an unexpected dinner invitation with another friend. We intended for a simple evening of laughter and support amid heartache. Instead, it led to a shocking revelation that rocked my already fragile world. As we sat, sharing casual conversation over the clinking of cutlery and hum of the restaurant around us, she leaned forward, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and urgency. Without preamble, she delivered the blow. My now ex-boyfriend had been secretly involved with my supposed best friend I was living with. They had engaged in a clandestine relationship during their bowling league outings and, astoundingly, during times when he acted as our designated driver. My friend revealed that my ex-boyfriend's best friend had come clean to her, out of a sense of guilt or perhaps justice, confessing everything. His girlfriend, the one who had been unknowingly aiding in the betrayal, then relayed the bitter truth to my friend. And from there, the web of lies unraveled rapidly. A cold chill ran down my spine at the ease with which she recounted the sordid details, the sneaky encounters, the double lives they led under the guise of friendship and trust. All the signs, those ignored whispers of intuition and unseen cracks in our foundation, became glaringly apparent. As told, this friend of mine had traded not only friendship, but her loyalty for selfish gratification. And my ex had not only betrayed my love and trust with this treachery, but stained the few sanctuaries I thought still remained untouched. As I absorbed her words, looking for the lie within them, I faced an emotional battlefield within myself. A crevice of anger emerged amid the cacophony, one that threatened to become an all-consuming chasm. My heart yearned for retribution, yet my mind hesitated, trapped in an ethical banter. How had the two people closest to me inflicted so much pain? How could they go on with their lives seemingly unfettered by the wreckage they left behind? Questions plagued me, deriving energy from my despair. Yet, my resolve strengthened as reality set in. I realized the necessity of confronting this pair, not out of vengeance, but for closure, for the peace that comes from speaking truth to the participants of my heartbreak. As my decision to face them crystallized, I felt a modicum of control begin to return. But the thought of confrontation filled me with dread. My life felt like an elaborate deception, a deceitful board game conducted by the people who were supposed to support me. Their betrayal stung deeper than I cared to admit, setting off an inner avalanche of self-doubt and mistrust. Throughout our relationship, I believed I had matured, embraced responsibilities, and adapted to life's varying currents. Yet, in that moment, they cast me aside as if growth was an accusation rather than a natural evolution. I endeavored to not collapse under the weight of this duplicity or buckle at the thought of confronting the absurdity of it all. Despite all that had transpired, the hope that I could move past this, that healing was attainable, flickered persistently within me. As despair and anger simmered into a bubbling cauldron of emotions, I wondered, should I sever this connection wholly, or showcase the indiscretions to her husband and let them confront the repercussions of their actions? These thoughts spun vicious circles in my mind, rendering me paralyzed in the crossfire of consequence and morality. Yet, deep in my heart, I wished to wash my hands clean of their deceit and rely on the universe's natural justice. I craved release from the burden they had imposed upon me, to witness them face whatever consequences may arise from their choices, regardless of whether I was the instrument of that revelation or not. Torn between the desire for retribution and the hope for liberation from this tangled mess, I considered that revealing their betrayal might finally offer that closure and allow me to begin the healing process in earnest. I decided to confront both of them in person, and she, of course, denied everything, her eyes wide with faux innocence, as if our years of friendship had all been a mere charade. Her insistent lies didn't surprise me. Deep down, I had anticipated her denial, but it still hurt. Then came his turn. I watched him, my now ex-boyfriend, closely feeling a mix of anger and sadness rising within me. Initially, he was stoic, his poker face carefully crafted, but something flickered in his gaze. Guilt? Fear of repercussions? Or perhaps a blend of both? To my surprise, he admitted to making out with her, a murmured confession that barely resurfaced above his trembling voice. Yet, as if to vindicate himself from the weight of witnessing the pain he caused, he revealed the entire saga via text after I left his sight, the admission escaping him easier with the digital distance. Each message he sent unraveled their intimate treacheries, each word tearing at the fragile fabric of my trust. It left me suspended in a strange state of disbelief. How could my closest ally betray me in such a profound way? And how could this man, who once spoke so beautifully about our future, stoop this low, tearing apart my sense of stability? Faced with these revelations, the dilemma of divulging their affair to her family, especially to her husband, loomed larger. Despite everything, my heart ached at the thought of destroying someone else's life. But each text from my ex highlighted another moment of deceit, seasoned with apologies that tasted as hollow as they sounded. They forced me to ponder whether allowing them to continue unabated along their chosen path of falsehood was right or silently justified their wrongs. Within me, an emotional tide surged. Was I to continue bearing this silent burden or expose their actions to the world, giving voice to the betrayal they sowed? Perhaps, by illuminating their choices, the tangled web they wove might just force them to endure the weight of their lies. While their lives sprouted from deceitful seeds, perhaps honesty was the soil needed to reset their course. As the night wore on and I replayed our confrontation in my mind, clarity slowly emerged. Perhaps, finally unburdened by their deceit, I could find closure. Declaring the truth, however uncomfortable, could carve a path for healing, not just for me, but for the others entwined in this betrayal. And though I feared the fallout, I clung to the hope that truth, however painful, might just set me, and perhaps even them, free. I have printed out all the evidence I have and decided on a course of action. I'm mailing it to their house addressed to her husband, since he does not use social media and I have no other contact. Among the evidence are photos of my ex-best friend and ex-boyfriend's locations post-bowling, parked suspiciously close together. Other texts spell out conversations from my ex-boyfriend's best friend, detailing their actions. Lastly, the messages where my ex-boyfriend admitted everything to me serve as painful, undeniable proof. I anticipate it will be difficult for him to receive, but the burden of the truth must no longer rest on my shoulders. What happens next lies on her, for it was her actions that created this reality. In releasing the truth, I also set myself free from being the silent keeper of their transgressions. What unfolds is inevitable, but it will no longer weigh on me.